A beautiful morning to you and welcome to the newspaper review right here at Prime Media TV. I am Ayo, bringing you the news headline today. And as always, I have quite a number of headlines to be reviewed with you. First of which says, Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, offers to sell 650,000 barrel per day refinery to Nigeria's NNPC amid monopoly allegations. Aliko Dangote, Africa's wealthiest individual, is considering a sale of his oil refinery to the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL). The refinery, which has a capacity of 650,000 naira barrels per day, has been operational since last year, has faced challenges in securing crude oil supplies from international producers. So there has been a lot of allegations against Dangote himself that he has been accused of monopoly. And here is the conversation that we are having today. And as always, I have my co-host with me to analyze this segment with me, the person of Mwachuku Treasure. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So I would like that we break the code here on this issue of monopoly. That is, they are saying that he is, we can practically say that the only functioning refinery in Nigeria right now is the Dangote refinery. What happened to the other refineries? Why are they not working? And another question to ask is that since the president is the minister of petroleum, he's overseeing that sector, why has he not been up and doing to ensure that the other refineries are functioning since it comes into power? So I want us to have this conversation on monopoly. What are your thoughts on these allegations against NNPC and against Dangote that NNPC is coming out to say? Then we move on to Dangote wanting to sell his refinery.
Okay. You see, about this refinery, what I can say is that we know that anything that has to do with more than one person, there will always be issue. We know in Nigeria that many of our politicians are involved in this refineries matter. And just like he stated, the president being the minister of petroleum, I'm sure that all these things happen now as a result of the possibly as a result of agreement issues. I want to believe that possibly the Dangote man is not willing to go by some conditions that are not favorable coming from them. That might be the reason why this accusation of a monopoly is coming. And it's so unfortunate that the only hoping, because we cannot say that refinery is fully functioning. We cannot say that if a refinery that is said to have the capacity of producing about 650 barrel of oil per day will be fully functioning in Nigeria, and we are going through the issue we are going through on petroleum. So I cannot say that the Dangote refinery is fully functional. But what I want to say that is a big slap, to the government, to the federal government, for the fact that Mr. President is responsible or is in charge of that sector, that something that will be of help. At least we see so many companies that are shut down. A company that has not even functioned for more than a year is already going through this. So I think the truth of the matter is that all the things that has made so many other companies to fold are the things that I think Dangote is beginning to face, to experience now. So and if it end up in him selling out that refinery, which the whole world knows about, that refinery which should be a thing that will benefit Nigerians, will benefit the government and all that, it will be a big slap to Nigerian government, because if something of such project, such investment can be affected by because I'm sure it's been affected by the economy. it will now bring me to ask, how possible can external investors come to Nigeria? How possible can people, this, audio investors the presidents have made mention of, how possible can it be that they are seeing the functioning ones in the country closing, and they want to come and put their head. So I want to believe that everything that is playing out now is as a result of, should I say, frustration from cabals that want to, one of the major problems we're having in Nigeria petroleum is as a result of people who are bent on self-interest, who are just, they want to have their own share. Everybody, they see it as a national cake. Everybody want to have their own share. That is the problem we're having in the oil sector in Nigeria. Not that we don't have enough crude that can serve the country. It is because many want a share of that thing themselves, not even for the masses. And that is what is affecting Dangote.
All right. You see, there's been a lot of pressure on the Dangote refinery since recently. Especially, even Dangote himself, he was recently made the Committee for Economic Reforms recently, just so they could buy him over, because that is actually what I
We
see
see it to
the
be.
Nigerian government doing. At the same time, I would like to question this monopoly aspect, because we've had this conversation on this table that if peradventure Dangote begin to sell his fuel produce, what will become of the other refineries in Nigeria, and how much should Nigerians expect to be buying fuel from Dangote moving forward? That has been the question in my head. Yes, is into mass production of this thing, is the only one functioning at the moment. But then there is a lot of questions to ask about the functionality of his own refinery, because as at the time that this man was planning for the building of this refinery, all that he would need, he said he would be needing $3.5 billion for the completion of this refinery. But currently, as we speak, Dangote has spent over $25 billion on this refinery. Who were the people who funded that? That's the question we should be asking. Who are the people who function the amount he has spent so far on the refinery? So now that he is coming out, and one thing I'm seeing here is that, you see, he would not have to, because Dangote is not the talking person. He's not the type who would come out to be granting interview. But I can't even count the number of interviews he has granted with TV stations talking about his refinery, and I can see that a lot of pressure is on him. And definitely the pressure is from those people who has invested in this, because there has been a lot of argument on the percentage that NNPC has in the refinery. NNPC is saying they have 20% percentage investment on the refinery. Meanwhile, Dangote is saying that they only have 7.2% in the refinery. Who is speaking the truth between NNPCL and Dangote himself? We don't know. Then he is saying, yes, the agreement they have is that they would have 20% investment in his refinery, but currently they are on 7.2%. That if they are able to complete it to 20%, that they would have a share in the refinery. But now that they have been unable to complete it, I guess that there has been pressure from them on the inside. Hence why he's saying that he would sell the refinery to NNPCL. Now, I want us to move on to this part where he said he wants to sell the 650,000 naira barrel per day refinery to NNPCL. We know that the problem with Nigeria is mismanagement. We don't know how to manage public properties. That is why you see that when public infrastructure that is managed by the government, it doesn't last for long. Even including our roads, you see that after 10 years, after 5 years that they've built that road, we have issues with rebuilding again because maintenance structure is not put in place. So what are your thoughts on what he has said, that he would sell this refinery to them? Do you think this is out of frustration? And if it is not out of frustration, if peradventure he later sell the refinery to NNPCL, how well do you think these people can manage it?
Well, asking about the sale of the refinery, if it is out of frustration, the answer is very clear. It can only be out of frustration. How can you describe the situation of a man who conceived, a vision and has spent time, traveled, meeting people, and just in one less than 1 year operation of that system, that company, the person want to sell off. If he has not, if that was the dream, if that was the intention, I'm sure he would not have gone that through all that stress to in building the refinery. We all know that, just like you said, there must be high pressure, from the inside and from our politicians. We all know what happened last year, and again, we are seeing that since this administration is not the one that commissioned that refinery, there's equally another challenge of, we are during at the time the refinery was, commissioned by the former president of Nigeria. We noticed that I have someone who worked in there, and he made it clear that that project was not, anything close to finishing as at when it was said to have been commissioned. It was said that, at least from a reliable source, that so many things are not yet ready, yet the president came to announce the commission. So I want to say that if he end up selling that refinery to the NNPC, we all know, just like you said, if the NNPC cannot, the other refineries that have been in existence, they could not do anything to bring it back to life. What I'm seeing in this Dangote matter is that many of our politicians has investment there.
Yes,
and
why
that is why all attention is focused on that one. If not, we have other refineries that less will be spent on to bring back to life. Why are they not talking about it? Everybody is talking about the Dangote refinery because they buried their fund there. So now, with what is happening now, all this thing that is happening currently now, should I say some of them are afraid? They don't know what is going to happen next. Should anything happen as a result of the looming protests and all that, the revolution that the Nigerian youth are clamoring for, should I say they are afraid? They don't know what is going to happen. And that is why I'm sure there is a very high pressure on Dangote. Now, if he should bow to this pressure and sell this refinery to them, the question is, who will manage it? Because they say too many cooks spoil the broth. When this person is bringing their opinion, that person is bringing opinion, and everybody wants their decision, their opinion to be considered, it will be a problem. At the end, you see that refinery will be abandoned, right? So I don't really think that, of course, not that the selling of that refinery is not going to be a good one. If these people are not people that are inconsiderate, I want to believe that no matter whatever agreement they have with Dangote, it's something they can be patient and allow recently they've been issued on supply of crude. Imagine him looking out, outside the country, to other country for crude. So all these things are things that should have been settled first before talking about, how to get. But it's quite unfortunate. Now, the Warri refinery, other places, refineries, they seem to be an abandoned project. And these things can help to take care of one of the problems we are having in the country. So the Dangote selling that refinery is not a good one because it will end up not being maintained. NNPC, we hear a lot of stories about them, and we don't even know who is in charge of the NNPC. Is it the person in charge or the president? Who are the people in charge of the NNPC? So it will end up becoming like other refineries, or better still, before you know it, they will sell it to one foreign company, meaning that foreigners will now have to take over the refinery, whereby Nigerians will not even, currently that refinery has employed good number of Nigerians. So if they have to sell it out, and NNPC or Nigeria government will end up selling it to foreign investors, it will be a problem to Nigeria.
And another thing is that they would not even be able to manage it
at all.
Because one thing that I'm saying here is that, we are running, it is looking like we are in, to speak, it looks like we are running a capitalist government, because I see no reason why the president should be the minister of petroleum. the affairs of the economy, the affairs of the country is even over. It has overburdened the presidency that they don't even know what to do. So how does he want to manage fuel, petroleum, and all of that? So another thing I would like to say is that I would like to speak on what they are doing to Dangote currently. I personally feel like on the part of Dangote, he should have shouldered the burden of this whatever by himself, or seek investors that he knows that he can work with. We see that the reason why this much pressure is on the Dangote refinery is because of the number of persons that has invested in this refinery, and these people are the cabals, the high cabals in our political sector. All of the money that they've embezzled, they've invested it in this refinery, and they want to dictate what Dangote should do in the production of whatever of his crude. They want to dictate, they want to decide for him. The pressure from the inside is what is pushing Dangote to talk now, because all through the 8 years of President President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, Dangote was not talking. Even Buhari himself was the one who commissioned the opening of that refinery. So one thing that I see the Nigerian government doing to individually owned sectors in the country is that they are gradually killing them and pushing them out. In this story, in the interview that that Dangote granted with Daily Times, he was saying that to some extent he's beginning to agree with his friend who chose to invest in another country. He chose to go and invest in another country than to invest in Nigeria. That his friend is now proving to be right, because his investment in another country is working. And you see that a lot of Nigerians who has gone out of Nigeria to invest in business, to invest in probably a personal business or in other people's business, they are doing better. And the fear of coming back to come and invest in Nigeria is in their heart. Why? Because the Nigerian government is not, their policies is not in favor of investment. Their policy does not help even the businesses that are functioning in the country to grow. Just imagine Allen Oyema, the CEO of Peace Airlines. This man, it took him 5 years for him to get licensed, and we can see what the Peace Airways is doing to the Nigerian Airways now. And we see that what the Nigerian government is doing to Dangote right now is that they are pushing him to the extreme. And if they push him to the extreme, just like every other business that has been folding up, he will sell it to the NNPC, and whatever they want to embezzle from that money, they will embezzle it in few years. And at the time they are done embezzling it, they will leave it as it is. Then Nigeria will go back to zero level. You see, there's a story that has been ongoing with the Oni of Ife, with a woman who she's a Nigerian who wanted to come and invest in Nigeria. She wants to come and build an hospital in Nigeria where she will be running free medical whatever to Nigerians. And this Oni collected this woman's $150 million, scammed her, refused to have the hospital. Probably he built the hospital in his name, and on the long run, he commissioned the hospital, and he told this woman that he does not know her. So this is what we see that our leaders are doing to people who want to come and invest in Nigeria. They kill their dreams, they kill their future, they kill whatever ambition that they have to come and invest in the Nigerian government. And on the long run, after they have embezzled the money, there is nothing for anybody to gain. It is a personal ambition for them. It is a personal motive for them. And on the long run, the Nigerian people are losing because they do not care. Because if truly they care, they would have looked for a way to ensure the functionality of the Dangote refinery, not the conversation that we are currently currently having.
One thing again, one lesson we must learn, or Nigerians, any other investor should learn from what is playing out now, is that, they say what goes around comes around. Because you want to talk about, I'm sure Dangote never saw it coming this way. When they were approaching him, he knows that this money they were bringing are Nigerian money. All right. So when they were rushing him and coming to him with all the money, and it was sweet. I'm sure what is playing out now, he never anticipated them. So I think this should be a lesson to anybody, any investor, anybody who wants to establish anything in the country. Had it been he never, accepted proposals from them, offers from them, there will be no issue. Because I want to believe that before he ventured into this refinery of 18, he has it planned out. He has it planned out. If it's something that, okay, even if he runs out of capital, there are individuals, or he could even get money from foreign banks. All right, so it's a lesson. It is a lesson that when you see, because just like a story, the story, the example you highlighted, you cited that sometimes an individual want to do something that will benefit the citizens, and you see some people, either Bale, either King, they want to benefit personally from that same person, and on a project that they and their children, their family, and everyone in the community will benefit. We see cases of somebody wanting to build a community road, and some group of people want that person to pay huge sum to them before commencing that project. So it's a big lesson that anything you want to do in Nigeria, and any politician is rushing you with money, be careful. Be careful, because Yoruba people say that the same teeth the dog used to play with the child. So when they come to you with the money, they can invest any amount, because it's a public fund. Be ready for bridge of agreement, and so many irregularities at the end of it all. That is what is playing out to Dangote now, and I'm sure if he had anticipated this, he wouldn't have allowed most of them to come into investment with him.
All right. On this note, we'll be wrapping up the conversation on the Dangote refinery. But our story unfolds on if he still wants to sell his refinery to the NNPC, which we see that it is really, really a bad decision. He's probably saying this out of frustration because of the pressure that he's getting from the investors at the moment. We hope that it doesn't change his mind. But as story unfolds, we'll be right here in Prime Media TV to serve you out on this conversation. So we'll be going on a quick break now, and as soon as we get back, we'll dive into another conversation. Please stay with us.